forget about fans. There was a lot of times that I didn't like Ricky, and I'm pretty damn sure he didn't like me either. But
I didn't have no problem with you.
There were extenuating circumstances. Like I was all
real aggressive tweets.
I happened to be.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on purpose.
Remember when he went after you on Twitter there?
I mean, I mean, I have a spotter.
There's a lot of coffee.
I should have. I have a spotter. I should know better.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I never talk to the spotters. Like, the spotters, not like.
Fair. I was angry, JT.
So, but
okay, yeah.
it always just so happened that I ended up being riding and practice partners with guys that would battle with him, right? And so you're either on that team or you're off. And back then, it was like you're either on this guy's side or you're on that guy's side, and it was like war.
Poor Beaks.
It was war
caught
on
in
the
the middle.
weekends, you know? So I was like...
Dude, can you imagine his?
But I was friends with Timmy, right?
Yeah.
And I was friends with Tortelli. Then I was friends with Reed. And I was like, can I just find somebody that Ricky doesn't hate? That they
no. Because he didn't like many people when he raced.
Well, no, but I like every time.
No,
it was like
that's what you guys think, but I didn't. I just didn't talk to everybody. Yeah.
But
like
I mean, it's tense. Like there's millions of dollars on the line.
I mean, it wasn't like you guys were coming up to me and wanted to say, hey, man,
No.
you guys want to hang out?
Not at all.
So, like, it's just me? I mean,
No, it wasn't. It was both. It's both sides.
But
Absolutely.
in Jeremy's day, like him and Fro didn't always get along. But then, as Denny Stevenson has told us many times on these shows, you guys would still be all at Club Rubber. Fro would still be there with you, even though you guys weren't really getting along.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't sitting around with Chad. Sorry, I wasn't sitting around with Chad and Chad going, you know, Ricky's a pretty cool guy. We should hang with him more. That's not how the conversations were going.
Yeah.
It was
So you
different.
had
Like,
to pick a
honestly,
side.
it got to
It
honestly got to a point, like, I didn't even enjoy going to the races for that because everyone was in their own little clique. It was so much different than when I came in. Like, you know how it was. You've been there.
Yep.
You lived in.
When you came in, we were all hanging.
It
was cool.
There was
I was gonna
time.
get into this
I will
later.
never
So you guys
forget-
were okay?
I will never.
Yeah.
There's
We were
never.
great.
We've never had
Never.
any
Even-
issues.
even like
Never,
01,
not that I
00.
know of.
None.
No.
Any beef you ever heard of was built by the media.
Yeah.
There ain't no
fine.
beef
Asshole
here.
media.
Yeah, like
Asshole media.
You guys want some hate you story with me and MC? It ain't happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So nothing.
But there's
Nothing,
like
ever.
like going back like 97. I remember 98. I had just turned 18, so I was able to go to places back then. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I should be doing this. And I walk into these places like, oh shit,
I definitely shouldn't be doing this when you
there's
walk
this
in.
guy. There's this guy. I'm like, oh man.
Jeremy's like,
I don't feel
Ricky
so
was
bad.
deer in headlights for a little
Oh,
while
yeah,
in the beginning.
dude.
Hey,
I didn't
Friday
know.
night,
Dude,
Friday
he's from
night of
Tallahassee.
Nationals. Friday night of
Shy little
Nationals
Florida
was-
kid.
Right.
I mean, who knew? But
Yeah.
things were so much different. And
Yeah.
honestly, I wish it would kind of get back to something like that, at least where, I mean, in the Reedy days and stuff, dude, we'd just be sitting there packing our gate and wouldn't even look at each other. That
Dude,
sucks.
It got so bad that I'm on the team with Timmy. I'm working for Timmy.
Yeah.
Chad's on the team. They're both trained by Spencer. Spencer's wearing a 22 hat, and Timmy freaks out. Like, now they're not talking.
Oh, real?
They're
Oh,
on
so
the
you had inner team?
We're on the same team, and
Inner
they
team
hate each
beef.
other
Dude, team
because the
beef, oh.
trainer is wearing the other rider's numbered hat. That's how serious things are, right?
That's crazy.
Which in your day, like,
See,
you know,
I just never. That is not me as a person. Like I'm friends with everyone. I want to be friends with everyone. I can't even race if I'm all stressed out thinking about him.
Yeah.
Or thinking about him being a dick or that guy being a dick. Listen, I never forgot when Lusk would come along and slam me or something. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna get that sucker, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, you and Yogi had a few.
we had a few beefs
Yeah.
over time, but we weren't like hating on each other.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, I'm gonna get you back
It was
for that one.
competitive.
Yeah, I mean, when he went to Honda that year, when he went to Honda and I was the Yamaha, we switched,
Yeah.
right? And then he took me out at St. Louis.
Yep.
I think it was St. Louis. And I had a podium, like I think I was second, Wyndham or I don't know. Anyway,
Probably Timmy.
I think it was
Probably.
Wyndham, maybe one, but Luss took me out. Did the same thing Barsha did to Anderson a few weeks back.
Yep.
Went kind of what I would consider to be backwards in the corner.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And so then we got into it in the pits after that, and it was kind of like I was pissed at Luss for that.
Like 98, maybe?
98.
Yeah, we
it was
went to
98.
98. Yeah,
it was 98.
yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, it did get really fucking serious.
Yeah.
In that time with James and
Yeah,
Chad
all the
and you.
time,
and,
and it just got to the point I didn't
Yep.
enjoy being
Right.
in the pits. I loved racing,
Yeah.
but like being in the pits because you didn't want to be around anybody. You
Right.
didn't want to talk to anybody.
Why do you think it went like that?
I
Why
don't
do you
know.
think it turned like
Honestly, I don't know. I wish I knew, but it sucked because you couldn't even enjoy it.
It got to the point where Chad would tell, so his pilot was this guy named Ray, right? And they're fine. He's
His
like,
pilot.
make sure we're the first ones off the ground, no matter what. I don't care if you have to cut off the plane.
I wasn't that like.
You weren't
I understand, but this is where Chad was. Like, we got to be the first ones out of here.
RC doing private? You did private?
I sipped the Kool-Aid on that for a little bit.
Wow, yeah. That's a lot of money.
I'm telling you, that was a thing. And so, Chad, we got to get off the ground first.
So I may have got my ass kicked by
I bet
RC.
Chad wishes he didn't do that.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing all right, but yeah, I mean, I wish I would have scaled it back a little bit.
Wyndham's got a famous thing. Wyndham's like, 1.6 million or something in flights.
I spent $1 million on it.
Yeah.
I spent $1 million on it.
You never did private.
Dude, we were.
But I
fighting.
think
I was telling Skip to be the first Bach fan out of the parking lot. Come on.
But that's crazy. He would say that, like, "Hey, man, we're the first guy." Like,
Airplanes.
I didn't hate it that much or want to prove a point that much.
I remember flying out of Morgantown after High Point, him going.
That one was tough because that airport was so small.
We got to go now.
Private airport is like
the race is over, bro.
He was there, mine was there, and Bubs was there. And it's just like, and then we were all walking through that little terminal. It's like, man.
Right after the race, like an hour later or whatever, right? So, it did get real serious. It really did. Yeah, JT can attest to that, too. And everybody kind of had the riding.
Why, though? I don't understand why.
You were better than everybody. That's why it wasn't.
You didn't have to deal with this.
The three best guys hate
started
each other.
I blame you. You started it.
Dude.
I had to change it up.
I didn't have airplanes and buses
it was like
and all
that. It was like that. You just didn't know. Everybody else was like that. You just didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was friends with all of them.
I'm kidding.
Jeremy was.
I was friends with all of them.
Yeah, you were really like the champion that everybody.
I was too until like
I couldn't handle
until I couldn't handle him beating me for 2 years.
Till you beat him. Then the crown and cape thing, right? Which wasn't your fault, right? We've gone through that. And it just switched on you a little bit. Like, he sold out the Honda.
Well, no, dude.
He's got the cape.
That's the thing. They loved it when in 01, they were loving me.
Yep.
Like, I didn't have, like, I mean, they were pumped. You know?
Right.
I think they were getting close to being ready, for a new guy.
Changing the guard. It was a cool time.
So then I went there, and then I went to Honda, and then obviously it went downhill.
Yeah. And
it
it got
2 years for you to bounce back.
It did.
And it
when I went
didn't
to
help,
Suzuki,
like,
it helped.
James, went to Suzuki. Yep, absolutely.
That
Started
helped.
to turn back to you. Now you were the older guy fending off Stu and fending off the Reed. You know what I mean? And people were cheering for you.
Yep.
It kind of started doing that. I absolutely agree with you.
Yep.
And then it didn't help either. Like, James was so phenomenally talented, but didn't really do a lot of interviews and didn't really like talking that much, and wasn't great at it. Chad was a little cocky, right? And then you probably didn't like some of the things that Chad would say. Like Jeremy, one thing about Jeremy, when you were winning, kicking everybody's ass, you never were like cocky. Chad had the cockiness where people were like, I don't really like this dude,
Hey,
and
look,
you were never that
I'm not
way.
going to say I didn't walk the line between arrogance and confidence, but I tried to be confident, not arrogant.
Right.
Well,
and I was friends with everyone, so I was
It's
like, I'm not
hard
going to
not-
rip on my buddies.
Right.
Well, and you knew the guys that you had covered, and you knew the guys that were probably like, man, this guy's pretty good.
It could be good
So
tonight.
it's a different that confident and cocky is different.
Yeah.
I feel like.
We'll go to commercial break here. We got some phone calls though. Let's get into these phone calls. Again, the lines